What's going on there, guys? Good afternoon. It is the Earthmaster here on the live stream. Wednesday, June 8th, 2022 is the date, about 12:30 p.m. California time. Latest quake shows a 1.3 earthquake here around the region of California, it looks like there, just south of the Bay Area. Let's go ahead and check out the latest activity here on the USGS map as we switch over and looking at the last 24 hours of earthquake activity. 2.5 and above for the states and the U.S. territories, 4.0 international. Looks like the latest quake here in the 4.0 threshold is going to be around the Papua New Guinea area. Very shallow 4.6 just on the north side here, right around the Bismarck Sea. Areas around this area, the Western Pacific, have been somewhat active since yesterday's events. Starting to see a little push of activity up around these plate boundaries here overnight. Did have some activity kicking up north of Mongolia into the area of Russia, where they've seen a 5.2 kick off overnight. Pretty shallow earthquake movement up there. Also some activity kicking up here into the India region. Had a 5.1 and a 4.4. Eventually all this area does get under quite a bit of stress due to all the plate dynamics here from the west, or from the east pointing west, and also the activity here shooting from the west towards the east in this region. So a little bit of activity definitely ramping up here today. I've got one around the Indonesia islands as well that came in as a 5.8. That one was late last night, early this morning time frame. Almost a 6-pointer, 23 kilometers, pretty shallow earthquake movement. And there's that 4.6, so a little activity stretching up here. Over the course of the last 24 hours, definitely somewhat amplified over here where we've seen that 6.5, very deep earthquake. It looks like they've adjusted the depth of that earthquake there to about 621 kilometers. So it was 616, so a little bit deeper now. Still pretty deep earthquake. Not super common to see all this deep earthquake activity down there with that magnitude at that level. But definitely way down there. Something brewing for sure along the South American plate. Further down south here into the Chile area, we had a 4.3 earthquake, but then again that was prior, just moments prior, looks like, to the that large scale movement yesterday in the 6 range. Looking up here along the west coast, 2.5 and above, not a whole lot showing up, is there? Did have another 4.0 in the area of the West Texas area, right around Pecos, Texas. That one coming in late last night, early this morning time frame. West Coast, a little bit of activity in the 2 range, it looks like, a 3.1 near the Salton City area. This is just off the San Jacinto fault zone. Looks like the very one of the southern segments, the Anza section, showing some activity. Again, this is just west of the Salton Sea area. Right here along the plate boundary, that's the San Andreas Fault, the sleeping segment. I should call it the sleeping segment, but that's probably not a good word for it because one day it's going to be waking up. So as far as microquake activity goes, yeah, definitely picking up here towards the northern end and kind of stretching right across the San Andreas Fault through Desert Hot Springs. Got a little swarming activity here in the San Bernardino Mountains. A bunch of 1s kicking up here. Not seeing anything above the 2.0 threshold, all of them below that. The biggest one a 1.9, but it is in there. Looks like, see which fault system that's on. North Frontal Thrust Fault System. I haven't really heard too much in the way of that. Let's go ahead and check out the see if I can find that on the map here real quick. Stand by for just a second. What is that called? The North North Frontal Thrust Fault System. That's it right there. So here's some of the specifics on this fault system where the swarming's taking place here, right there in the San Bernardino Mountains. It looks like it's it doesn't look too lengthy. Let's see, type of faulting, primarily thrust, 65 kilometers from end to end, but cut by the Helendale Fault The western portion is some 35 kilometers long, and the eastern portion is about 25 kilometers long. A couple nearby communities. Most recent surface rupture looks looks somewhat recent in a way. Slip rate is very minimal though, between 1 mm per year on the western segment and 0.5 mm on the eastern. Interval between major ruptures is uncertain at this time. Probable magnitudes between 6.0 and 7.1. Because this zone is somewhat fragmented, many of the individual fault segments have their own commonly used names. So, doesn't look like that too big of a deal, but definitely getting a little swarming out there today within this region. So it might be something to keep an eye on, but overall I think it's a little telltale sign of some seismic increasing pressure along this area of the plate boundary. So that's, like I said, the sleeping segment of the San Andreas Fault will basically the southern segment, but no doubt it will be waking up one day very soon. Put out an article. I shared an article on my Facebook page from the Weather Channel about the Pacific Northwest and the subsequent large tsunami that could be created from the Cascadia megathrust earthquake one day, which most geologists and scientists say within the next 50 years there's a 1 in 10 chance of that happening, which ain't that big of a deal, but I think these chances and these percentages are just they're human based for one, right? We don't 100% know accurately when that thing's gonna rupture, but just due to this dynamic setup here that many people live on, the incoming wave, the tsunami, will definitely be a huge one. I find it kind of odd because they didn't mention height of the tsunami when it comes in. It was just a little article. If you got social media, it's on there on the Facebook page, on the Weather Channel, but it's also there on the Earthmaster page as well. A little interesting video. Just find it kind of strange that they put it out today. Ridgecrest area, some movement looks like around the fracture area of 2019 earthquake back then. Still seeing some aftershock sequences and a little noticeable increase in movement in Nevada, specifically around the Tonopah area and Mina, Nevada area, showing quite a bit of swarming. Up through Utah, look at this. Got a pretty wide area of small earthquakes throughout the region here of southwestern Utah. Covers a good portion here of these mountains. And up to the north, not a whole lot going on. Still some activity, it looks like, being reported here in Yellowstone. Looking at the Yellowstone overview map here, we'll see what we got. And that signature again is going to be the 6.5 from yesterday. Still haven't seen any secondary earthquakes there on the map. Kind of what I was looking at last night. Maybe there was a hidden earthquake in the shadow of the 6.5, but I'm not seeing anything listed on the map yet. But as far as seismic activity goes, not a whole lot going on here, folks, at the Yellowstone area. It looks pretty clear, and on the graphs as well. Throughout the Pacific Northwest, did see, got a little bit of microquake activity again, still outside of the Portland and the Vancouver area. One earthquake shown up here on Mount St. Helens. I'm surprised they're reporting it. Let's go ahead and check that out real quick while we're on that topic. And Mount St. Helens, let's go ahead and bring up the volcanic seismicity map here and see what is going on. There's that one earthquake they reported there. See that? A 0.3 at 1641 UTC time. So let's check this out. 1641 UTC time. Come on. Okay, 1641. 16. I don't get this. Hold on a second here. Let me double check this. So that's right smack dab at the summit. 1641 UTC time. It's a 0.3. at the 8th of June. The 8th UTC time, 1641. 1620 is right here, so it would be the next blue line right here. And I'm not even seeing it. Obviously, there's a bunch more earthquake activity that's happening locally to this seismograph station, but man, I'm not even seeing that that 0.3 that they're supposedly having. That would be within this black line. Okay, this would be the black line right here. So there's not a lot. It could be any of those little ones. But what about all these other ones here? What about those? Were those not earthquakes? Oh, goodness. Some of the S waves there yesterday from the 6.5 kicking in. Squiggly lines. But, wow. Still some activity, folks. A lot of microquake activity here at the Mount St. Helens area. And a 0.3 to throw in there, which I can't even find. I find it kind of odd. All right. Moving up and out to Alaska. Hey, that sounds good. I'll move to Alaska. A little bit of movement around the Aleutian Trench, it looks like today. Quite a few microquakes. Let's see what else we got here in Hawaii. Not a whole lot going on, it looks like. Only 16 earthquakes, mostly featured around the Pahala area, southeastern portion here of the Big Island. Aside from that, nothing showing up here within the last hour. No further aftershocks following yesterday's event, aside from the 4.8, which occurred just about an hour afterwards. And really no... Now let's see what we got for some further activity in South America. Nothing really. Got a 4.7 way up into the Venezuela area. 4.5 way up there yesterday. Well, actually this, late last night. But aside from that, man, not a whole lot of renewed movement over here on this area of the board. One earthquake here around the Puerto Rico, San Juan, Puerto Rico area. Looks like 2.6 for 57 kilometers for that earthquake. Let's see what else we got. Tremor activity last night was non-existent, folks. It's pretty quiet, so let's go ahead and check real quick space weather, see if we've got any sunspot development, which doesn't look like it. Things kind of looking spotless is the word. You guys see that? Very, very spotless, with no potential for any type of flaring going on. Only a 10% chance of a C flare. This is about as low as they get. No major geomagnetic storms on the way. No major coronal holes. Very slow day in the space weather department. All right, guys, I'm going to jump off here. Got quite a bit of stuff going on here. Starting some summer classes here at our college. Some geology classes and a couple other physical science classes here. Working on getting a degree built up. And hopefully, who knows what, maybe get a job with the USGS here in the near future. So I think I could do it. I think that would be fun, but I would be a little bit more transparent than some of their reporting systems. But who knows? Who knows why they don't report a lot of those quakes that happen? You know, maybe it's not worth their time. I don't know, but still, maybe their systems need updating. But either way, if I get in there, I will find out what's going on for sure. 3.2 on the globe, New Zealand area, just coming in right now. Alrighty, guys, have a good day. We'll chat to you a little bit later tonight. Peace out.